Hey everybody, and welcome to Ball Pit, the only show on the internet with humor so sophisticated qu'il n'a pas de paix mélodorant. In today's episode, we're going to be breaking down the top 5 80s trends, because I'm very excited to finally get into...
That's on your face.
Stop!
What?
Don't touch it! Get off me, you nildag! What? I said get off me.
No. Before. What was that word?
Oh, nildag.
What is a nildag?
I made up my own swear.
What? Why?
I got sick of all the other swear words out there. Basically, everything sounded really the same to me. You know, you had fuck, cunt, cock, dick, suck, cocksucker, motherfucker. Just so many. There's just a k noise. I was like, nildag. That's so much looser. The L and the D, it flows together nicely. I like nildag more.
The K, that's that power, man. That's why they do it. You want to have power, not sensualness when you say a curse word.
It's not sensual, it's just, it flows better when you say it.
You can't just go and invent words.
Why not? Shakespeare did it all the time. Do you have any idea how many words Shakespeare made up?
You're not Shakespeare. Why you can't? You're bringing that up. You're just a nerd.
Speaking of the word nerd, did you know that Dr. Seuss invented the word nerd?
Okay. I get it. Words have origins, but they have roots. They have meanings. There's a reason.
Nildag has meaning.
What does nildag mean?
You just being nildaggy, just general nildagginess.
Can you give me an example of nildaggy?
You're being nildaggy. You're a nildag.
Don't be throwing that at me.
Just what you're being. You're being nildaggy.
No, you're being a nildag. Oh. That is pretty satisfying.
Yeah. It is. Well, now that Pat has learned our new word, how about we go to a word from our sponsors?
Hey Pat, it's Alex. This is the third time I've called you. I'm still waiting for you to come pick me up. Hopefully you get this voicemail soon.
This episode is brought to you by voicemail. Voicemail. Leave a message.
Voicemails always remind me of those old-timey answering machines. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're so nostalgic. Speaking of nostalgia, we hopped in our DeLorean and listed the top 5 80s trends in our next bit.
Hey everyone, we're here and we're going to be breaking down the top 5 trends of the 80s. You ready, Pat?
You know it.
Alright, here we go. Number 5, AIDS. First introduced in 1981, AIDS was taking the 80s by storm. It took a full 5 years for the government to publicly acknowledge the epidemic.
With the Surgeon General's hands tied due to mandated silence by the White House, misinformation was spreading like wildfire.
Further demonization of the homosexual community from the White House through a condemnation of their alternative lifestyles, LGBTQ citizens were a perfect scapegoat for the disease.
Even White House Press Secretary Larry Speaks was in on the joke, dodging questions and laughing with reporters that referred to it as the gay plague.
Despite the CDC's need for governmental support, it took the deaths of thousands of citizens, including children and celebrities, to elicit a response from the government other than disinterest. But at that point, AIDS was already the autoimmune sensation that was sweeping the nation.
Number 4, no cell phones. Say TTYL to texting back, because in the 80s, it was all landlines all the time.
There was no Lyft, no Uber, no clunky cell phone weighing down your pocket. Need a ride? You got to call a friend at his house using a payphone.
Hope you have a quarter.
Number 3, cocaine. Weed was a thing of the past, man. In order to keep up with the times, you need something with a little more oomph.
That's where cocaine comes in. Though the powder form was considered a next-level party drug, crack cocaine was grabbing the 80s by the balls.
It was so strong, in fact, that the government diverted crucial funds away from health treatment in order to jack up policing of drug use.
Despite similar rates of consumption, African American and other minority communities were more heavily policed, which, coupled with the 1 to 100 sentencing disparity for crack versus powder, the for-profit prison system in America exploded!
Minimum sentences and a mandatory forfeiture of cash and real estate led to a crazy disparity in effects for lower income minorities.
Regardless of who you were, the Just Say No mantra was largely ineffective due to its simplistic approach to a complex societal construct, which means this moral panic wasn't going anywhere.
Number 2, movies! Back to the Future,
Indiana Jones,
RoboCop,
Nightmare on Elm Street,
Terminator, Die Hard,
The Goonies! And at number 1, the threat of thermonuclear annihilation, 80s Cold War, baby!
Nuclear arsenals were growing like crazy, and those ICBMs could have started flying at any minute.
Not to mention, of course, the countless proxy wars the United States and the USSR entered. Tons of regimes were overthrown, and terrorist factions were given weapons, all in the name of establishing dominance over the other superpower.
It was through that short-sighted characteristic of blindly funneling money into proxy wars that allowed the US to fund and arm Osama bin Laden's Mujahideen forces.
Peace through strength indeed.
The re-escalation of the Cold War was so awesome, as was the crippling national debt we incurred as a result of the arms race.
Nuclear standoffs are righteous.
Don't you miss the 80s?
Weren't they great? Don't you want this again? Nostalgia!